Welcome to Math Mini Lessons, and in today's lesson, we're going to model addition and subtraction problems with positive and negative integers.
Things are getting spicy, 7th grade. Here you have 3 fractions. One that has actually a mixed number, the other 2 are fractions. We have positive and negative numbers, and we're going to go from left to right because we know how to break this down. We're going to start by doing just this part first, the 5/6 plus the negative 2/5, and then we'll work this second step in. So let's start there. We're going to do 5/6 plus our negative 2/5. So what do we already know? We know that our final answer here, we have positive and negative, so we're going to have to rewrite this as a subtraction problem. We know we're going to find the difference between these two numbers. So it's kind of like the opposite of additive inverse. We're going to do the negative. So 5/6 minus 2/5. So the opposite of negative 2/5 is just a positive 2/5. So we're going to use our same process for multiplying. Common denominator 30. We have subtraction here in the middle. 6 times 2 is 12. 5 times 5 is 25. And we get 13 over 30. So that's this part right here is 13 over 30. And now we have to do our second part, which is to subtract the 4.5. So let's get to that second part. Let's actually write it a little bit bigger down here. So 13 over 30. And in this case, it's actually positive because 5/6 was much larger. So we know it's positive 13 over 30. And we're going to subtract 4.5, but I have a problem with looking at it like this, so let's change it to an improper fraction, not 4.5. Look how much easier that is for us to solve. And our common denominator here will be 60. We're going to have subtraction, and on the left side 30 times 9 is 270, and on the other side we have 26. So 26 minus 270. And I can actually do that subtraction in my head. I know I'm going to have negative 244 over 60. So this is what we have so far. We knew that was going to happen because negative 4.5 was way bigger than 13 over 30. But we do have some problems. We have an improper fraction and we do have to do some simplifying. So let me just swoop up so I can follow along on my work. And we're going to do some division because this is an improper fraction, so you know you're going to have to divide. So 244 divided by 60, you can do it on the other page, but we know that this is 4, and my remainder, let me don't forget my negative sign, is going to be 4 out of 60. Makes sense. Now I do have to make sure that this is in simplest form. So 4 over 60, let's give ourselves a little bit more room. I know I can divide by 2 over 2. So I get 2 over 30. And they're both even again, so I'm going to divide by 2 over 2 again. And I get 1/15. So that is in simplest form. So our final answer is negative 4 and 1/15. Take a moment to just jot this down in your notes so you have it. Going through our entire process, starting first with just taking the first part of the problem. We rewrote it as subtraction. Then we went and we went to the second part of the problem, solved in that way, made sure it was a final answer, not improper. And we get 4 and 1/15. And let's jump into our next problem. We're going to have another 2-step problem with this time all different decimals. So we're going to do the same thing again using our conventions. We're going to start with just this part first. So negative 1 4/10 minus negative 2 2/10. I'm going to rewrite this using additive inverse. So it's a rewrite and additive inverse. Let's see. So the first number stays the same, plus 2 and 2/10. Now that is something that we can actually solve. You can use mental math. If this is a little bit confusing, some people actually reverse it. So just so you can see what's actually going on in my head, I'm doing this. 2 and 2/10 minus 1 and 4/10 because they're different. I do know that my final answer is going to be positive in this case because I have way more positives. And when I subtract them, I'm going to get 8/10. All right, so I'm going to put 8/10 is a positive number. And now I have to do my second step here, which is to subtract. Okay, so this part was 8/10, and now I have to add negative 8/10. So let's write this down and just take a moment to look at this. And I noticed something. I have a positive and negative, but more than that, they are opposites. This doesn't always happen, but this is an awesome thing that it happens because we know when two opposites are added together, when I have a positive and a negative, I know that I'm going to get 0. I know this is true. If I have 8/10 and I take away 8/10, I'm just going to have 0. So let's hit pause here. So you can jot this down to your notes, but I started by just doing that first step of the problem, the very first one. I know my final answer was positive. Look through my work, and let's jot this down in notes and we'll get into some practice.